Okay, we're going to start lying on our backs in Shavasana. If you're just joining, have a couple blocks, a belt, and if you have a bolster handy, that'd be good too. Let's have the sense of emptying before we begin. Emptying out physically. You don't have to force anything away. Don't push away any part of the experience. Just kind of open up to what's here without needing to add anything. You feel the weight of your bones, the weight of your body, how it connects to the earth. Notice the touch of air on your skin. Notice any sounds your ears are receiving. Notice the river of breath. Let yourself be breathed rather than taking control over the breath. Let your breath breathe you. Anchoring awareness to the present moment through the body and through the breath. So through the body by noticing sensations, maybe differences in temperature, places that feel really easy and comfortable, maybe places where you feel strain or discomfort. Subtler sensations like tingling or pulsing or streaming, vibration. And perhaps a sense of deeper feelings in your heart or in your gut, maybe some heaviness or maybe lightness, maybe feeling of closed, being closed off or being really expansive. Let's keep the breath in the foreground of awareness in particular as we begin our movement inquiries with what we call the spinal undulation. So we'll plant the feet about hip width apart. And if it's comfortable for your shoulders, bring your arms into cactus shape. With your exhalation, press the lower spine into the floor. Feel the abdominals engage to make this happen. And then as you inhale, find a little back bend here. So you rock toward the tailbone and create a little gap between the spine and the floor. Following your breath here a couple more times, just like this, exhaling to root through the spine and then inhaling to arch the spine. Or could think of it from the pelvis as anterior and posterior tilt. Let's start to accentuate the action that accompanies the end of the exhalation. So that deep abdominal engagement, and you can just barely lift the sacrum off the ground, like you're headed for bridge pose, but just teeny tiny bridge. So inhaling, belly inflates, there's a sense of expansion through the front of the torso, and then exhaling, root through the spine, and then peel the tailbone and then the sacrum up off the ground. Allow that full breath to come in. Try not to cut the corners. Try to be in the moment, not rushing off to the next moment. And we'll start to layer on a few more actions here potentially. Can keep it simple if that's better for you. So this will be a cranial nod. As you find the back bend, let the chin move toward the chest. And then when you root through the spine and find that mini bridge, lift the chin away from the chest. So I'm not actually lifting the head. I'm sliding the back of the head along the ground in this kind of yes motion. Whenever there's pain, especially scary pain, make the movement smaller, make the movement slower. So we stay within a comfortable or just slightly uncomfortable range of motion. One more time, just like this, following your breath. And then at the end of your exhale, let the spine come back to neutral or just come back to being restful, at ease, and interlace your hands underneath your head at the base of your skull. So the same spinal movement. Now we add on some, make that movement bigger and add on some arm action here. So as you find your back bend, press the arm bones into the floor or toward the floor. If that's better for you, keep it smaller. And then exhale, as you root through the spine, we lift the head, elbows move toward the knees, and they're also squeezing together. That's important. Following your breath. Full breath in, can bring the breath down below the navel, and then exhale, curling up. So it's like the tailbone is moving toward the elbows, and the elbows moving toward the tailbone. Adding a diagonal reach with the exhalation. When you curl up, now instead of curling to center, bring the elbows across toward one hip. Inhaling back to center, root the arm bones, create that space between the spine and the floor. Hips are staying down here. And then exhale, curling up toward the other hip. Take your time, moving with intention. Layering on here, as you bring the elbows across the midline, bring the knee in toward the elbows. Inhale, lightly landing the foot, arching, rooting the arms, and then exhale to the other side. Knee in toward elbows, elbows toward the knee and toward each other. I often see like this one elbow kind of gets left behind. Bring them both in, unless you're working with an injury. And then last variation here for now, we'll come back to symmetry and bring both knees and both elbows in toward each other with the exhale. Inhale, land the feet. At the same time, root the arms. And a couple more times. Exhale, curling everything in. The last one. And then once the feet come down to the ground, bring your arms out to a T Take your time, there's no rush. And then we'll keep the left foot planted and slide the right leg straight. Great. Keep your left shoulder down on the ground as you bring the left knee over to the right. So we're keeping the left foot on the ground, but we're rocking to the inner edge of the foot. The outer edge of the foot pulls up away from the ground. And then back to center, so the foot is planted, the knee points up. You could also, instead of just bringing the knee straight across to the right, I like to reach it toward basically my right foot. So the hip will lift a little bit more. If you want to create a little bit more opportunity for opening in the front of the hip, you're going to squeeze your left glute at the same time. Adding a simple nod of the head to the left as the knee swings across toward the right. One more time on this side. And gradually swapping over to the second side. So left leg is straight, right foot is planted. We'll work to keep the right shoulder down. Swinging the knee across to the left. And then returning the leg to vertical. You can really push the inner edge of the foot into the ground and try reaching the knee toward the left foot and engaging your right glute, your right buttock muscle to help open the front of the right hip. Turn your head to the right as the knee goes to the left. Last one on this side. When the leg is vertical again, plant the left foot again, feet about hip width apart again. We'll interlace the hands at the base of the skull once again. We're going to bring both knees and both elbows in, but they'll go opposite directions. So knees can go kind of off to the right and the elbows toward the left hip. Let's inhale, land the feet, arch the back, root the arm bones. And then exhale, knees go kind of toward left shoulder and elbows toward right hip. Full breath in. Expand the belly with the inhale and then squeeze it out. Let's do about one more round. And then whenever you complete that round, you can slide your legs out straight and bring your arms to the T again. Working with gravity as much as we can. So you're gonna imagine the legs are a lot heavier than they actually are, so they stay on or close to the floor. So we're gonna come into a spinal twist, a very familiar shape, but to get there, we're gonna slide the knees up toward the elbow. And then slide the legs out straight. See if you can keep your feet on the floor the whole time. And we're not aiming to get the knees all the way to the elbow. That's just the direction we're going in. But let's prioritize keeping the shoulders down. Sliding and gliding. Moving slowly, moving with intention. Always feeling welcome to pause. Possibly at the end range, but really anywhere within the movement, anywhere within our practice, there might be this inner calling to just stop and wait and watch and listen. And please honor that if it arises. We're going to add on here. So we're going to slide the knees up toward the elbow, just like we have been, and then top knee kind of swinging a little bit more up toward the elbow. And then return the legs to stack, slide the legs out straight, and do the same thing on the other side. Knees slide toward the elbow, the top knee keeps going up closer to the elbow. Again, let's keep the shoulders down. If you're getting shoulder discomfort, arms can be more alongside the body than out at the wide T. Go slow, try not to cut the corners. Try to be with what you're doing rather than rushing off to the next component of the movement. Adding on one more layer, potentially, one more action, sliding the knees toward the elbow, top knee swings up toward the elbow, and then that top leg extending out in front of you. Bending the knee, sliding the feet on the ground to straighten the legs, and then to the other side. Try pushing through the heel, flexing the foot, so toes pull back toward you when you straighten the leg. We're gonna go one more time and then we're gonna stay at the end range there. Sliding the knees toward the elbow, top knee swinging up more toward your chest, and then extend the leg. If you've got a belt handy, you can use the belt to connect the foot with the hand that's right there. If it's reasonable for you to reach the foot with your hand, you could do that. If you have any kind of SI imbalance, we want to keep this top leg parallel to the floor rather than letting it come down to the floor. Breathing here. Try pushing through your heel, drawing the toes back. Belly turning opposite the outstretched leg. Breath is in the foreground. Release your connection to the foot. Slide the feet along the ground to straighten the legs. Just take it to the other side. Knees slide up toward the elbow. top knee swings more up toward your chest, and then that top leg straightens, or maybe doesn't get fully straight, it just straighters out in front of you. You can create that connection with the belt, with the hand that's nearby, or maybe with the hand alone. Push through the heel, turn the belly opposite the outstretched leg. Release the foot, bend the knee, slide the legs out straight, bring your arms down by your sides to rest in Shavasana. Watching and listening inwardly. Breath breathing you. Okay, let's roll onto the side. Either side, it's up to you. And consider using the back edge of your mat here, just in the beginning, just for a side stretch. So the sacrum and the back of the head both aligning with the back edge of the mat. That'll take any tendency to have a hip hinge here out of the situation. You can have your heels at the back edge of the mat too, and the hips stacked. Straight arms, straight legs. Bottom arm is a pillow. We'll take hold of the top wrist with the bottom hand, tug on the arm, and actively stretch through the legs, push through the heels. Let the head be heavy. Release the wrist. Tuck your knees in toward your chest and bring your arms out in front of you with your hands stacked. You could put a cushion or a blanket underneath your head if it doesn't come to the ground or if the neck is uncomfortable. Okay, the top hand slides past the bottom hand, like further away from you. That'll help to open up through the rhomboids, the upper back. And then when you're out of range for sliding, when you can't slide anymore, keep that reaching energy, reaching the arm now up toward the ceiling and back behind you. Might have to move so you've got space for free range of motion. So we're opening up into the twist. We've been here before. And let's flow in and out, reaching through the arm. So it's an active, energetic reach through the arm, up toward the ceiling, and then out in front of you, the hands stacked. Get that reaching action. Once again, slide the top hand further away from you and repeat. Let the head go with the movement. It'll be freer range of movement. So if your head is on a pillow or a cushion, try to orient it so that your head's not falling off the platform. So when I slide my arm out in front of me, there's a potential to roll all the way onto the forehead. Let the head go rather than deciding where the head's going to go. Once more on this side. And then without any sense of hurry, once you're back in that kind of closed shape, slither your way onto your back and into Shavasana for a moment. And just notice what you notice. Okay, second side, you can just roll. I turn so that you're not seeing the back of me, but you can just roll like a log and consider aligning yourself with the back edge of your mat. So legs straight, arms straight, bottom arm is a pillow, and the sacrum and the back of your head are in line with the back edge of the mat. Even the heels can be back in line with the sacrum and the skull. We'll take the top arm alongside the ear and tug on the wrist and stretch through the legs. Release the wrist. Tuck knees in toward chest. Arms out in front of you with hands stacked. Head on the ground if that's comfortable for your neck, or put something underneath your head if it's not. Starting our twist by sliding the top arm further away from you so it runs past the bottom arm. When you can't reach any further, keep the reaching energy up toward the ceiling and back toward or to the floor behind you. Rewinding, stretching up, head going with the movement. Two sides are usually different. Have a quality of ease in your movement. Don't push or force the shoulder down. If you're getting shoulder discomfort, the arm doesn't have to be fully out to the T. It can go more down alongside your body, or you just don't go as far. And then at the end of this one, whenever it is for you, you can slither slide onto your belly So your hands are stacked and your forehead is on top of your hands. Let the shoulders relax. Just sense your new connection to the floor for a moment before we start changing it. Feel your breath meeting the floor. Okay, let's slide the hands to hold the elbows. And you could walk the elbows back a bit, but keep them at least like an inch in front of the shoulders. Tuck your toes under, try to walk your toes a little closer to your knees, and then push through your heels, push your heels back, press your elbows down, and root through the pubic bone, really squeeze your buttock muscles. If you're feeling all the sensation in one part of your spine, try drawing the bottom of the rib cage toward the back body and then lifting the chest some more. Lowering down, sliding the elbows apart to stack the hands and untuck the toes. Let's slide one knee to bend out to the side, like Baddha Konasana or tree pose. And just take a moment here to notice sensation. Keeping the leg where it is, take hold of your elbows again. Remember, at least an inch in front of the shoulders, could be more. Press the elbows down, draw the shoulders down away from the back, and then the straight leg, just bend it so the foot points up toward the ceiling. Sending the front of the pelvis down toward the ground. It's not going to get there. And engage your glutes to help protect your back. Airborne leg releases back down. Slide the elbows apart, bring your head down, slide the leg out straight. Second side, leg coming out to the side or knee coming out to the side, like you're doing tree with your belly down. The foot doesn't have to connect to the leg. Bring your hands to take hold of your elbows. Press the elbows down. Draw the shoulders away from the ears down. And then straight leg bend so the foot is airborne, roughly over the knee. Try squeezing your buttock muscles. You can get that same action of the bottom of the rib cage drawing toward the back body if that's helpful for you. Airborne foot comes down. Slide the elbows apart, bring your head down, slide the leg out straight. Okay, this one might be kind of a big move or kind of challenging here. So we've been doing the twist shape with both knees bent toward the elbow. We did it on our back. And then we're going to do it here on our belly. So we're going to slide both knees up to one side. But then let's try to lift and turn the torso, lift and turn the belly opposite the legs. Okay, so same shape we were in much earlier in the class. We just flipped it like a pancake. You want to really bring the knees in as much as you can comfortably, or at least in line with the hips if that's available to you. You can keep hands stacked and forehead on hands, or take your arms out wide and rest your cheek on the ground. Just go for the way that's easier for the neck. So let's go for the head facing in the same direction as the knees. You could go the opposite way, but try not to crank the neck at all. Make it gentle and kind. Okay, you can stay right here or join me in our kind of Sphinx variation. So we take hold of the elbows, just like we have been, elbows an inch or more forward of the shoulders. So we have this twist, and we're adding a back bend or extension, spinal extension. Press the elbows down, lift the chest up, and then here, particularly if you're feeling a lot of compression in the back, notice if the bottom of the rib basket is just kind of like spilling forward, and bring it in toward the back body. So it'll feel like you're twisting that less, but then you can go on lifting the sternum up toward the ceiling. Let the elbows slide apart so you can bring your upper body and your head down. And then slither slide the legs straight back behind you to come to prone shavasana. Okay, second side here. You kind of have to lift up a little bit. I do anyway, to get the knees into this twisting shape with the belly down. Try to bring the knees in line with the hips or higher up toward your shoulder, say. You can keep the hands stacked and the head down, or take arms out wide to a T. See if you can kind of lift and turn. You can use your hands into the floor to help turn the belly opposite the knees, opposite the legs, and then arms out stretched and cheek down. And then if you'd like to join me in adding the back bend shape, we take hold of the elbows. Elbows are at least an inch forward of the shoulders, maybe more. Press the elbows down, lift the chest up. Shoulders down away from the ears, and maybe bringing, if it's flaring forward, bring the bottom of the rib cage toward the back body, and then go on lifting up through the chest. Let the elbows slide apart so you can bring your head and torso down. Slide the legs straight back behind you. Prone shavasana. Coming back to symmetry, our last shape here on our belly, coming back to that same Sphinx variation we started with. So elbows Hands to the elbows, tuck your toes under, push through your heels, root down through the pubic bone, and really squeeze your glute muscles. This time, let's untuck toes, and then we're coming onto our back again. So you can slide one arm underneath you across and just roll to come back onto your back. Body drop. Notice the field of sensation. Our focus today is on the back. So maybe a little extra awareness of sensation in the back. The back and spine sit a little closer to the floor than when we started. Maybe you feel a sense of warmth or more circulation. We've worked the back a lot already. Okay, and then we'll end our floor sequence here with a supine dandasana or staff pose. So you can use your belt for this one, please, if you've got it. We'll take the belt, doesn't have to be in a loop, mine just happens to be, so I'm going to use it. We're going to take the belt around both feet and stretch the legs up to vertical. Just vertical. I know many of you can do a forward bend, more of a forward bend. We're not, we're just doing vertical here. Spreading the toes, flexing the feet. The legs might not even be vertical. So if you notice that your pubic bone is tipped up relative to your hip points, then let the legs come further away. So we've got this kind of triangle table shape, the pubic bone and the two frontal hip points. And you could bring your hands to it or even take a look and make sure that the pubic bone's not up relative to those hip points. So we want this triangle table to be flat. That's going to create a little bit of space between the lower back and the floor, which we want. Okay, so maybe you can hold that triangle table alignment and bring the legs back up to the vertical. Maybe not. Maybe the hamstrings aren't ready for that, and that's okay. So let's prioritize this triangle table or this neutral pelvis over getting the legs up more. The last few breaths here. Knees could be bent. If you're feeling tons of sensation in the hamstrings, bend the knees, that's fine. You might not be feeling much, that's okay. Feel your breath. Okay, and then slowly with intention, so really being present for the transitions, not just the shapes. You can release your legs, set your belt aside, and drop back into Shavasana for a moment. That's the end of our floor sequence. Feel your breath. Be with what's here. Okay, and then we'll bend the knees and roll to the side. And you can take your blanket off of your mat. Or if you've been working on a carpet, now place a blanket on your mat or place a mat down. So you've got some grip. Socks might come off. And we're coming into child's pose. Okay, in child's pose, let's tuck the toes under. Walk your toes toward your knees. This is really important for the feet. Toes tucked under. You might need to help a little renegade toe to tuck under. And it's more active child's pose now. So stretch the arms forward and kind of push the floor away from you, like push forward and away to send the hips further back and to have the shoulders in a better aligned position. The head can be down here. But let's get this sense of protraction through the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades on your back are moving away from each other, away from the spine, rather than just collapsing down. We're kind of almost like we're lifting the shoulders up, the back of the shoulder girdle. Rising up to all fours. Spread your fingers. Dial your hands outward without changing. They're still connected to the ground. We're not actually turning them out, but there's this dialing outward action. And then push the floor away as much as you can. And from your belly or from your hips, lift up to down dog. Knees could be bent here. You can let your head hang. Keep pushing the floor away a lot. Dialing the hands outward. See how that changes what you're feeling in your shoulders. Okay, from here, let's walk the feet forward. And then you can bring your hands to your hips and rise to stand. Beautiful. We're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel your feet, spread your toes. Drawing up through your spine. Connecting to your breath. Bend your knees into chair pose. Arms reach forward. They could stay forward or come all the way up alongside the ears. And then bring your hands down to the ground and walk back to plank pose, upper push-up position. Knees can be down if it's too much for them to be up. We're creating this line of energy from the heels all the way to the crown of the head. So please don't drop your head. You'll lose energy and stability that way. Push the floor away, dial the hands outward, push the floor away a ton, and then just a little bit soften between the shoulder blades. Glutes are active here. It's not all about the arms. Really include the legs. Inhale here, full breath in to the back if you can. And then exhale, hips rise up and back, downward facing dog. Let's do that just 2 more times. We inhale forward to plank, energy back through the heels, forward through the chest. Your exhale, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. 1 more time. Forward to plank, really moving intentionally, mindfully. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Now this time we'll inhale forward to plank. Lower the knees down to the ground and see if you can keep your elbows in close to the sides of your body. Keep sending the elbows back toward the foot edge of your mat, elbows back, 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 as you lower down onto your belly. Let's keep the toes tucked under. Bring your arms back alongside your body for locust. Energy through the heels. Squeeze your glutes. Lift your chest up. Head is in line with the rest of the spine, so we're not looking forward, we're looking down. Beautiful. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Keep drawing the elbows back toward your feet. You can come on to all fours and then downward facing dog. Stepping your right foot forward. So if you want to get that clearance, the hips stay high, we really hug the leg in to bring the foot between the hands. If it's better for you, you can lower your knee down. If it works for you, keep the back knee up. Let's bring the hands to the thigh. And then isometrically, we're scissoring here. So the front foot is isometrically dragging back, and that back foot is isometrically dragging forward. So people call it scissoring the hips. I call it scissoring the hips also. So here we are. And then we don't want we don't want the pelvis to be forward here. So you might need to bend the knee to find that neutral pelvis. So it's that same triangle table we found on our back where the hip points and the pubic bone are now all vertical. So if the tip points are forward relative to the pubic bone, probably need to bend the knee to make that level pelvis. Then maybe you can re-extend through the back heel. Okay, option to stretch the arms up alongside the ears. So not going for a back bend here. Going more for this alignment of the sacrum and the back of the head. Couple more breaths, breathing into the back, breathing into the sides. Bring your hands down to the ground. Step your foot back to plank. Knees can come down right away. We're only doing this one vinyasa today. Can lower your knees down. Let's do knees down. And then keep drawing your elbows back. So it's almost like this chest feels like it's moving forward with the elbows moving back, coming all the way down onto your belly. Keeping your toes tucked under. Stretch the arms back again for locust pose. Energy through the heels. Squeeze your butt muscles. Lift up. Gaze is down. Hands plant beneath the shoulders. Come back up to all fours. Get that dialing outward action of your hands. Keep lifting your hips. Push the floor away. Downward facing dog. Bringing the left foot between the hands. If you want that clearance so your foot's not dragging, hips are high, we're really hugging the knee in to place the foot between the hands. You could lower the knee down or not. Hands to the thigh, rising up. Checking in with the pelvis. So my pelvis is in this kind of forward tilt. Going to bend the knee to create this neutral pelvis. Pubic bone, 2 frontal hip points, vertical. Maintaining that, maybe re-extending the back leg partially. Scissoring the hips, or it can come from the feet. So this front foot is dragging back. This back foot is dragging forward. Then maybe extending the arms up. And again, we're not trying to create a back bend here. More of a neutral spine, sacrum and back skull aligned. Spreading the breath through the back and through the sides. Last time, bringing the hands down to the ground, stepping back to plank pose. Lower the knees down so you can really focus on the shoulders. Elbows stay close to the body, elbows drop back as you lower. Shalabhasana, locust pose. Let's keep the toes tucked under, push through the heels, squeeze your glutes, Lifting up. Really squeeze the glutes. It's almost like the lower belly lifts away from the floor when you do that. Like a tucking of the glutes. Hands beneath the shoulders. Come up to all fours. Really push the floor away to do that. And then go on up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands back toward the feet this time. To come into chair pose. Bend your knees. Sweep the arms forward, reach, and then maybe arms up alongside the ears. That's it. Rising all the way up. Arms floating down through this ocean of energy. Okay, let's probably have a block handy for revolved triangle. Okay, we're going to start with the left foot forward, getting crazy. Left foot forward and block to the outside of the left foot. Hips are squared to the front of the room that you're in. So you can create that with that same action, that scissoring. This left foot is like dragging back, and the right foot is dragging forward, just into the mat. Maintaining that action, stretch the right arm up, really reach the arm up, as if you could touch the ceiling, and then start to hinge. Keep that scissoring action going. As you hinge, you can be bringing this right side of the rib cage forward and right hand down to the block. You want the spine parallel to the floor, so adjust your block setting to meet that. Still dragging the feet toward each other. Now adding this rotation through the ribs. It's not coming from the hips. The hips are staying still because it's a spinal twist. Okay, so we're rotating through the spine, maybe extending through the arm. Gaze can be out in front of you or down. Try not to crank the neck. Unwind your spine. Push the feet down to rise up. And then just step switch. Second side, so right foot is forward. Block is to the outside of the right foot. And both hip points are directly forward. Front foot drags back into the floor. Back foot drags forward into the floor. Stretch up through left arm. Really reach. And then as you come forward, keep that scissoring action going and bring the left side of the rib basket forward. Hand coming down to the block, adjusting the block so the spine is parallel to the floor. Keep that strong scissoring action through the legs, through the hips, and then don't move the hips. Just rotate through the spine. You might not get as far, but it's a more stable, integrated shape. And then you can stretch up through the arm if that's good for your shoulder. Gaze can be down, say the right foot, or out in front of you. Unwind your spine. Push your feet into the floor to rise up. And step your back foot forward. Okay, we're going to come into a wide-legged shape, wide-legged forward fold. If you have any kind of sciatica or disc issues, you want zero rounding in your spine when you fold forward, if you fold forward at all. So we might have a block or two handy. Let's try supporting the head in our first expression of Prasarita Padottanasana. Lost somebody. Okay, so we fold forward, take your time, legs are active, and the head can come down. Back of the neck is long. There's a slight gathering, a slight retraction of the shoulder blades. Knees can be bent. Long, slow breath. With your next inhale, lift about halfway. This would be a good place to stay and not fold further in our next version if you do have any kind of disc stuff or sciatica going on. And then from here, we're going to come all the way up for a moment. And now we'll interlace the hands behind the back. You don't have to force the arms to straighten. Maybe keep the elbows a bit soft here, drawing the shoulders back away from the center of the chest and folding forward again. So with back stuff going on, hands to the ground, spine parallel to the floor, and back is healthy, can fold deeper. If you have the yoga mudra, the hand shape, try not to let the shoulders collapse down toward the ground. There is a reaching energy through the arms. Use your legs, use your feet to come all the way up. If you have the mudra, we're going to release that and come back to the top of the mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. If you have two blocks, let's place them not on your mat, but just past your mat. Roughly, you can readjust when you get there. I would go shoulder width apart and highest setting. The option to readjust later. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, touch the ground, step back to plank pose. Dial the hands outward. Push the floor away and then just slightly soften between the shoulder blades. Back of the skull is in line with the sacrum, so please don't drop the head. You can lower knees first here. Keep drawing your elbows back as you lower down onto your belly. And then you'll probably have to readjust the blocks. We want to be able to have the heel of the hand on the top of the block with straight arms. Highest setting, most challenging. Lower setting, more accessible. For locust variation here. So I would stretch through the fingers, everybody. Tuck your toes under. Press the pubic bone into the ground. And it's almost like you're tucking the booty under. And that'll create a little space between the belly and the floor. And then push the hands down to lift the chest up. Lots of energy through the legs. Bring your hands off of the blocks. Let's stack the hands, bring the forehead down, and untuck the toes. Shoulders totally relaxed here. We're not lifting up at all. We're just dropping down. Okay, option to repeat the locust we just did with the blocks, or to come into Dhanurasana bow pose. So for bow, or like a locust bow variation, let's bend the knees. You could do the locust with the blocks and bend the knees. Knees bend, and then try to bring the frontal hip points down. Bring the pubic bone down to the ground. From here, you could reach the arms back. Doesn't really matter if you get the hands or if you get the feet. So we're reaching the arms back, rooting through the pelvis, maybe reaching for the feet. Go for the feet. So you could push the feet into the hands as the hands pull on the feet. The glutes are active here, and we're continually pressing the pubic bone down toward the ground. Should feel a lot better for the back with the glutes engaged. And then from here, lowering down, bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Keep drawing your elbows back toward your feet. Push the floor away with your hands, rising up to all fours and coming to a seat. Try sitting in hero's pose if you can, between the feet, probably on a block. If you're sitting on a block and you have a second block, have it behind you. So you're bringing the floor up to meet you. I'm going to do a twist here. So we'll twist to the right. You can bring your left hand to the outer right leg, your right hand behind you. If you're sitting on a block, you probably want to put your hand on a block so you don't have to lean back to get to the floor. Turning through your belly. Go easy with the neck here. So maybe back off and bring the nose in line with the sternum. Really working the twist from your center instead. Really breathe here. Breathe into the back, breathe into the sides. Gently unwind your spine. And then twist to the left, right hand outside the left leg, left hand behind you. Turning from your center. Going easy with the neck. Gently unwind your spine. If you have a bolster or like a big pillow from the sofa, you can grab it for camel pose. You could place blocks alongside your feet if you don't have anything like a bolster. So we're coming up onto the knees with the bolster on top of the calves. And you could tuck toes under if you like as well, but the bolster kind of gives us the option that we might not have. So really drive the knees into the floor, engage your buttock muscles. It's almost like we're bringing the pelvis forward. Okay, that might be enough work right here. Knees down, glutes engaged, pelvis moving forward. Possibly bringing your hands back to your bolster. Fingers point back, thumbs point out. Sternum rising. Glutes, glutes, glutes. Carefully coming up, try to come up symmetrically. You can sit back onto the bolster if it's there, or right onto the heels if it isn't. Just resting and breathing here. We have one more round of Ustrasana, camel pose. You could take the bolster away or keep it there. Coming off of the sitting bones, driving the knees into the floor, squeezing the buttocks a ton. Pelvis moving forward, leaning back to bring your hands to the bolster or your heels. Be sure your palms face forward. Carefully, symmetrically rising up. Sitting back onto the bolster if it's there. Or you could sit back onto your block in hero's pose as an alternative. Okay, we're going to work maybe with eagle arms a little bit here. So arms stretch out wide, spread your wings. And then let's bring one arm underneath the other. And maybe bringing the hands to connect or backs of hands. If that's too pretzel-y and weird, you can have one elbow bent and we're using the other hand to bring the arm across the midline. Back of the head in line with the sacrum. Notice which arm is on the bottom. And we're going to add a little bit of movement here in the direction of that arm. So with each inhale, see if you can bring your elbows a little bit further forward away from you. And then exhale, arms go in the direction of the bottom arm and head rotates opposite. Inhaling back to center. Same direction, bottom arm is tugging the top arm its way. Head gently rotating opposite. A few more times. Find your slow, gentle rhythm. And then once you come back to center, just take note of which arm is on the bottom in case you forget in a moment, and release the arms down. Feel your breath in your back. Spread your wings once again. Now it's the other arm that goes underneath, even if you've got the one elbow bent and the hand, it's the same kind of action here. Inhale into the back, stretch the elbows forward. Exhale, arms go toward the bottom arm, head opposite. Go easy with the head, go easy with the neck. Finding your breath, finding your rhythm. Arriving back at center. When you do, release your arms, brush your spine with breath. Okay, and then we're going to take a supported bridge. So if you're working with a bolster, you can use the bolster. If you're not, we'll use the block. So if you're using the block, you're going to lie down first and then place the block underneath your sacrum. If you're using the bolster, we're going to sit on the bolster and then lie back and make sure your lower back isn't on the bolster or on the block for that matter, that it's draping toward the floor. So it's the sacrum and the buttocks that are on the bolster. Feet can be planted, feet can stay planted. If you like, you can stretch the legs straight and bring the arms around the head, or if you like, you can bring the legs up to vertical. And we'll take about a minute here, whatever variation you've chosen. Breath is in the foreground of awareness. Breathe into your back. Gradually bringing feet back to the ground if they left. If you've been using your block in supported bridge, you can lift up and remove it and then roll through the spine to come down. If you've been using a bolster, you can lift your hips and just slide it down so your pelvis can come to the ground and then your thighs are supported on the bolster. If you want that kind of support, but you don't have a bolster, you can roll a blanket and place it underneath your knees. Releasing your arms alongside your body. Separate your feet a bit wider than your hips. You get cozy, get warm for Shavasana. We'll spend about 5 minutes in Shavasana. I always like to do a longer Shavasana. It just doesn't seem to translate as well in online classes. So always feel free to just like say goodbye at this point and take a longer Shavasana if you'd like. Entering a state of non-doing and resting here. Coming back into the river of breath. And feeling your body, a sacred vessel for life's journey. And taking your time, making your way back up to a seat. We're going to bring the hands into Matsya Mudra. So it's right hand on top of left hand with the thumbs out wide. And then you're going to bring your hands down in front of your abdomen. Relax your shoulders, relax your elbows. Matsya Mudra. This is for the second chakra, all about fluidity. So you might close your eyes here. Maybe it feels silly or stupid. Maybe you feel some kind of energy hookup or connection. So just take a moment to be open, to breathe, to feel. And you might repeat with me or silently, gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. Letting the sentiment echo inside. And then bringing hands, palms together at heart center. Bowing head to heart and hands with gratitude for all of the blessings and abundance in our lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.